Look, I don't want to see my sister like this either. But you're her sister-in-law. It's okay for you, right?
Well, actually, my name is Susan. My husband Tom and I have been together since high school, and we recently got married. When I say that, people often ask, so you were classmates? But we actually went to different schools. We met when I visited my close friend's house after a club meeting in high school, and Tom was there. So I've known Tom's family for a long time, and we're pretty close. Mila, who technically is my sister-in-law now, I still call her Mila like before, not sis. Our relationship has always been good, and it's remained that way even after moving in together. Before Tom and I got married, our workplaces were quite far from each other. So, I was planning to quit my job when we got married. We were actually planning to rent an apartment near Tom's parents' place.
Susan, I'm sorry. I've been so busy with work that I haven't had time to look for a place. Can we live with my parents until things settle down?
This is how we ended up living with his family, right after our marriage. Well, I do bear some responsibility for this, since I was totally fine with moving back to our hometown. Besides, Tom works in his family's business, so living with them would make things easier. With that in mind, I gladly agreed to move in. I was confident that I could live with my husband's family without any problems. They lived in the countryside, so I haven't found a job here. So now I'm supporting Tom and his parents, who are self-employed every day. I do housework and occasionally help with their business. Mila lives nearby and she gets days off on weekdays, so she comes to see me from time to time. I have someone to talk to, and I think I'm having a pretty fulfilling day. But there was a problem, even in such peaceful days. One day, suddenly, Mila started acting strange. She started to forget things more often, and her face clearly changed from before. Even I, who doesn't see her very often, noticed it. It seems that Mila also noticed it herself.
I went to the hospital. They said I have early onset Alzheimer's. I'm scared.
One day, Mila confided in me like this at my husband's family home. Of course, neither Tom's parents nor Tom knew anything about the disease. But if she has Alzheimer's, living alone would be difficult. In a rush, Tom's parents took over her house somewhat forcefully and decided to live with her. And that's when my days of hardship began. Even after starting to live with Mila, Tom and his parents were indifferent to providing care for her. We have work to do. Can't help it.
Well, don't make money, so we'll leave Mila to you.
With that, they eagerly headed to their store.
At first, I thought they must be busy with their business. But the three were clearly avoiding their responsibility to look after Mila. I'm old and work is tough. I can't take care of Mila too.
I don't want to see my daughter change. Sorry, Susan.
After getting married, I have to provide for us as the breadwinner. Leave the money-making to me. In return, I want you to take care of the house. It's important for a couple to share roles, right? They would say such things, leaving me to take care of Mila while the three watch TV.
Mila wasn't entirely unconscious. Seeing the three of them like that made her look sad.
I'm sorry, Susan. I'm sorry.
Seeing Mila cry like this, I was at a loss. But the situation got even worse. Unbelievably, Tom and his parents had secretly signed a contract for a new home, and they were preparing to move.
We're tired from work. If we had an Alzheimer's daughter, we wouldn't have time to rest. You should continue to stay here and look after Mila. It's fine since you're only doing housework anyway, right? We won't push you too hard, so we'll spare you the housework at our new house. You were always close to my sister, so it's not a problem, right? It's not like she's a stranger. We'll send plenty of money for living expenses. Take care.
With that, the three really left. Of course, Mila and I were left behind. All three of them seem to go to their store every day, but they don't ever come by to see us. Even if they see me, they don't even ask about Mila. That's when I finally realized that the three had completely ran away from looking after Mila. And I was stunned at my own situation. What's gonna happen to me? From what I found out, early onset Alzheimer's can't be completely cured, though the progression of symptoms can be suppressed. Will I continue to look after Mila forever? If so, I won't be able to find another job. Right now, I have a lump sum of money that Tom left. He said he would keep sending some more. But will they really continue to make payments forever? I couldn't trust the people who abandoned Mila. Moreover, the money I've received isn't enough to live on without working for the rest of my life. I must work outside, but I can't leave Mila alone at home to go hunt for jobs. Maybe I should rely on public welfare, but even when I look it up on the internet, there are too many technical terms to understand the whole process. Above all, my brain isn't functioning due to lack of sleep. It was during my despair that it happened.
Ah, finally it worked.
A vibrant voice was heard. There's no way. But I looked at Mila. There she was with a much stronger expression than before. Of course, she didn't look like she was suffering from Alzheimer's at all. Surprised, I listened as Mila explained.
Susan, I'm sorry to surprise you. I actually don't have early onset Alzheimer's. I haven't even been to the hospital. I was wondering what I'd do if they asked me to show them a diagnosis. They will lose me based on only my words and my condition. Well, it's expected. They didn't even try to take me to the hospital.
Mila, why would you lie like that?
Actually, Tom said something outrageous before you guys got married. He said I'm gonna force my wife to live with us so you guys can use her however you want. And both my father and mother agreed to this. That's when I knew things were not right.
According to Mila, it wasn't that Tom was too busy to look for an apartment. He simply didn't bother because he wanted to force me to move into his parents' home. In the meantime, it seemed he had been secretly discussing how to make his wife work like a maid with his parents.
At first, I thought he was just trying to be a big guy in front of our parents, since he was about to get married. But I was wrong. He never really looked for a new place. And even after you guys got married, he clearly became a misogynistic husband. He was saying terrible things behind your back. So while it wasn't my place to interfere, I couldn't stand seeing my dear sister-in-law being treated like this. That's why I decided to expose their true colors.
Mila talked to her friends about this, and she decided to pretend to have early onset Alzheimer's. Normally, her parents would step in to provide care, but that wasn't the case. Just as Mila predicted, they pushed all the care onto me, and they ran away from home, leaving only some money behind. When she told me all this, I finally understood. I thought I wouldn't have to worry, because I was living in a house I've known since childhood. I convinced myself I was happy because I didn't have any severe mother-in-law and daughter-in-law problems, but it was different. From the time I got married until I had this conversation with Mila, I was never truly happy. I couldn't be alone with Tom, and I was constantly busy with housework. Even when I was doing housework late into the night, no one would ever come to me and say anything. Even when I was doing housework late into the night, no one said anything.
Oh, you're not done yet? That's tough. Good night.
You're really inefficient. Are you sure you'll be okay like this?
I was told things like this, but since there was no clear verbal abuse, I didn't realize I was unhappy.
Susan, you've always put yourself last. But you know, I figured they'd run away right away. Plus, they run their own business, so they care about their reputation. So I thought they would leave some money behind. That way I thought I could give you some freedom.
At those words, I remembered. Indeed, Mila had been pretending to act strange. To a stranger, she might look sick, but she only forgot things and didn't burden me with personal care like toilet or bath assistance. That must have been because she was considerate of me. Mila's actions gave me courage. There's someone who cares about me so much. Now I wanted to repay her for looking out for me. After that, I started preparing to move and looked for jobs without telling Tom and his parents. Mila continued to pretend to be ill only when the three of them came, but she secretly helped me with all my moving preparations wholeheartedly. Originally, the three of them never came to see how Mila was doing at home, so both moving preparations and job hunting went smoothly. Then, 1 month after learning the truth, I found a good place to move to and a new job. Then we decided to tell the three of them everything when they came to work at their store, which was right by our place. Actually, I was planning to sneak out, but...
Huh? I was thinking of leaving quietly.
You're too soft, Susan. We have to make them regret all that they did to you.
These were Mila's words that made me determined to tell them. Of course, the three who found out the truth were furious.
Huh? What are you thinking, sis? How I treat my wife is none of your business.
That's right. A wife is supposed to serve her husband's family by doing household chores. I've done the same.
I never thought you were such a terrible daughter, but I no longer consider you my daughter. I don't recognize Susan as our daughter-in-law either. Return all the living expenses you took from us, and don't ever come back to this house.
That's right. How can I stay married to someone like you? Divorce me and get out. Oh, and of course, return the money.
That's right. Money is important. Please give it back.
The three of them all told me to return the money, but Mila took out a piece of paper.
Do you remember this? This is the note you left when you dumped me on Susan and left.
That is...
Written on it was, "We're giving you this money as living expenses, so please take care of our daughter." Out of habit as entrepreneurs, all three of them left their signatures and personal seals on the note. With this, they can't say that I took their money on my own.
I wonder what would happen if I take this and leave. I'm not sure this is legally binding, but I think it's worse for you guys if the neighborhood finds out. Running away after dumping your sick daughter on your daughter-in-law as entrepreneurs? What would people say about you guys?
Dill?
You're so wicked.
That's right. You're cheating, sis.
The three of them complained, but seemed unable to say anything more. After all, the three of them had indeed dumped their sick daughter and their daughter-in-law and fled to a new home. They had left me with more than enough money for my living expenses, but their reputation will be tarnished. Then I filled out the divorce papers that Mila had prepared for me and Tom, and then we went to the city hall to submit them together with the five of us. In contrast to me and Mila, who were feeling refreshed, the three of them had gloomy expressions. However, it was their actions that had caused all this. I had no room for sympathy.
Hey, Susan, can't we start over? If you don't like living together, I can look for an apartment somewhere. If you don't want to be near my parents, I can change jobs. So, please don't abandon me.
What are you talking about? It's not about living together or being self-employed. That's not why I'm changing jobs.
Then why?
You don't get it, do you? This time, Tom, you were about to abandon Mila, right? And you were laughing while watching me suffer. I got sick of that cowardly nature of yours.
Tom was depressed, but that couldn't be helped. I was appalled that Tom didn't understand the reason for my anger until I told him. Why did I live with people like this? To be honest, I was full of regret. But anyway, Mila and I managed to move out of my in-laws' house. Moreover, unbeknownst to me, it seemed that Mila had been laying some groundwork in our neighborhood.
Actually, I've been ill recently. Yet, my family abandoned me, leaving Tom's wife to care for me. Despite that, she took great care of me.
So I had indeed noticed something off recently. Are you okay now?
Yes, it's all thanks to her. But after this, I've had enough of my family. So I decided to run away with her. I'd be scared if they abandoned me when I fall ill again.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good decision. Can't trust a family that won't help in tough times. So you two are leaving together? Both of you take care.
Yes, thank you.
But really, who would have thought they were such people? You can't judge a book by its cover, huh? Kinda hard to trust.
Mila's groundwork had an enormous impact. After all, she was seen being pushed around the neighborhood in a wheelchair by me. The three members of my in-laws' family didn't even offer to push her in a wheelchair. Besides, the neighborhood had noticed them visiting the store every morning and evening. It had started some gossip about what was really going on. That's why they believed Mila's words. The rumors spread rapidly once we left. Now they seem to be living in a state of ostracism.
Mila, what have you done? Come back and explain properly.
Yes, we can't run the business. What are you gonna do about it?
Sis, this is too much. Help us, and try to convince Susan to reconcile while you're at it.
Such texts came in on Mila's phone almost daily. Of course, nobody would shop at a business that was being ostracized. Mila doesn't seem to plan on helping them, so their business will probably continue to struggle. But still, I can't find it in me to sympathize with them at all. As for me, I'm doing my best at my new job. A new location, new relationships, a new job. There are many exhausting things, but it's still way more fulfilling than living with my in-laws. Plus, sharing a room with Mila is more fun than I expected. We maintain just the right distance while doing housework and occasionally together. Living together and helping each other is really great. After all this, I absolutely do not want to get remarried. If my days continue like this, I wouldn't need another partner anyway. Right now, I just want to continue living happily.